Hello, welcome to Spay Neuter Network's Facebook Live. Happy New Year. I can't believe it's already 2023. Um, welcome back. I'm the vet, Dr. Bowden. Make sure to like Spay Neuter Network's Facebook page if you haven't already. Um, I am kicking this thing off. Ask me any animal medical related questions that you may have in the comments. We received several questions ahead of time, so thanks to y'all that sent them in. Um, so let me pull up some of those. So tonight I want to talk about what Spay Neuter Network's about. They are about spaying and neutering their pets. And so one of the first questions we got is, what is the difference between spaying and neutering? And this is just, it's a difference in gender. Female animals are spayed and male animals are neutered. Both are surgical procedures that remove their reproductive organs. So if you're wondering which is which, female spayed, male neutered. Um, you might hear my cat in the background. Sorry. So, um, so as the name suggests, Spay Neuter Network's mission is to provide spays and neuters in order to eliminate pet overpopulation while empowering communities to care responsibly for dogs and cats. So there's an estimated 350,000 dogs and cats, stray animals in North Texas, and overpopulation places a strain on the shelters and communities. So that's why we want to talk about it. So let me check on questions. Ooh, so what is a good age for a Chihuahua male from Patricia? Um, Patricia, do you mean to get him spayed or neutered? I mean, I used the wrong term there. I mean, for any dog, that was a question that we received as well. That what what age should I do this at? Even somebody said, I've heard 6 months, I've heard 6 weeks. Um, Really, I think 6 months across the board is pretty good. A lot of shelters will do spays and neuters at 8 weeks, just to ensure that an animal is is fixed before they go out into the community and so they can be adopted. And so Patricia said her dog is at 9 months old. I bet he's really cute. You could do it now. I think it'd be great to get him neutered now, especially before he starts showing unwanted behaviors like um, humping or aggression. And so, okay, and then we have another question from Guadalupe. Hello, Guadalupe. If my cat is male and has a urinary tract infection, what would be best to do? I have urinary tract cat food for him, but not sure if it's helping. So it depends. If his urinary tract infection is diagnosed by a veterinarian, they can prescribe antibiotics for him just based on what they're seeing. If he is just peeing outside of the litter box, or doing other things that make you think he might have a urinary tract infection, I'd encourage you to go get him checked out by your vet. Um, or if he's not neutered, neuter him, because that is a big problem with male cats. Um, so another question we got will my boy cat stop spraying if I neuter him? And if y'all have smelled tomcat pee, oh, it stinks. It smells so bad. And so, in male cats, neutering decrease the risk of roaming and spraying in the house. And so, because of that strong tomcat urine smell, they're spraying and trying to mark their territory. So, if you neuter your cat, he won't feel the need to mark things as much. So, hopefully, that behavior would decrease. And then we had so many questions ahead of time, which is really nice. So thanks for y'all that sent those in. Um, so one of the questions I received was, besides not having babies, are there any positives to spaying and neutering? And a related question, why would I fix my dog if she doesn't go outside? And there's a lot of reasons. So mammary gland neoplasms, which are also breast cancer. These are greatly reduced when an animal is spayed before her first heat cycle, but so before she starts showing any in-heat signs. Also, by having your dog or cat spayed, you eliminate the risk of ovarian and uterine cancers and pyometra. And about 1 in 4 unspayed dogs, that's 25% of dogs, will develop a pyometra by the age of 10. And so those aren't odds that I'm willing to take unless it's for the lottery. I would definitely be buying a lottery ticket then. And what a pyometra is it's just like a big infected uterus, and it can lead to death untreated. So the treatment and surgery for that is costly and expensive, and so it's better just to get your pet spayed. So um, let me check over here on questions. Let's see. Patricia asked, is anesthesia okay? Oh, I lost the question. Is anesthesia dangerous for my 6 pound baby? So veterinary clinics would come up with an anesthetic plan for your Chihuahua. And so honestly, at the shelters, they'll do spays and neuters at 2 pounds. And so I know he's real little, but we don't want him to get really big and start having bad behaviors. And so while anesthesia is, it can be scary, and even though spay and neuters are a somewhat routine procedure, you still want to make sure that he's healthy when he goes in. Um, and I had another question about this too, so I'm trying to find it. Um, oh yeah, somebody had asked, are there risks for spaying or neutering? Um, so it doesn't come without risks, of course. And really one of the main risks is anesthesia. And so if you're worried about those risks, make an appointment with your veterinarian ahead of time to talk through those, and see what those risks might look like. Um, and then Ginger asked, my bully pit has a bunch of knots that have popped up on her everywhere, but they don't bust. They're just everywhere. Um, yeah, I mean, that can happen sometimes if you want to get it checked out at your vet. I mean, it could be cysts, it could be masses. And so it's best they would be able to take like a fine needle aspirate and see what is inside of those. Um, okay, and then uh, Patricia asked about her chihuahua. Is neutering him going to keep him from humping pillows and toys? It depends. Does he already do that? Because he might continue doing that. But it should, if he's not already doing that, it should keep him from doing that. And it should create less of a drive to do that. Um, and then Guadalupe also asks, I use Fabuloso and bleach. Is that fine to clean the home when there are cats around? I also use Fabuloso because it smells so good. It's my favorite cleaner. If you're going to use it, just try to not clean the whole house. Give your animals a space where they can breathe, and also open some windows to get that fresh air moving through. Especially with bleach, I would be more concerned than Fabuloso. And so just it's okay to clean, especially once it dries and isn't touching the animals, but that smell, even for us, isn't great. So just opening the windows while you're cleaning is great. And Shara says, hi. Hi, Shara. You're new here. Well, I'm glad you're here. So, um, and then Ginger asked, is there a certain age they cannot get spayed? Animals can get spayed or neutered at any time in their life. If there are issues like with their heart or their kidneys, that would be something that your veterinarian would talk to you about the risks of. And so you would need to get like blood work done ahead of time, possibly x-rays, possibly an echocardiogram, like a ultrasound of the heart, if you were really concerned about that. But again, that should be something you talk to your veterinarian about. And I don't think old age is a disease. I feel like that's something vets say a lot, but old age is not the disease. And so unless your pet has a disease, I wouldn't say that there's a certain age that they can't be spayed or neutered. And then, oh yes, okay, so Karen Kennedy, hey Karen. I know you. She fosters a lot of animals for us, so hello. She asked, are there conflicting opinions regarding how old a pet should be neutered? And I said this a little bit earlier, but some of shelters, a lot of shelters will spay and neuter pets at 2 months old, at 2 pounds, um, just because they want them to be spayed or neutered before they're out in the community again. And so I think 6 months is great in an owned animal. If you're not getting it from a shelter, if you found them or you're getting them from a breeder, hopefully you're not getting them from a backyard breeder, but I think 6 months is okay to wait until some people will say past a year or past their first heat cycle. There's very little evidence that this is beneficial to our animals. Um, Okay, and then Shara said, I want to get my dog fixed. She's a rescue. When will y'all be in Corsicana? Oh, I don't know the answer to that question, but somebody from Spay Neuter Network can respond to that message and let you know. Um, okay, and then Patricia also asked, what is a bad behavior for a doggy if he doesn't have the surgery? And so, yeah, humping is a bad behavior. But then also, dogs are more likely to be aggressive if they aren't neutered. Um, I had a study that I read earlier of 2 million dogs. Spayed and neutered dogs have longer lifespans than those that remained intact. And so there are um, there are things that can happen, like your dog might become overweight because of spay or neutering. But it's not because of spay or neutering. You just need to reduce their food intake, really, because they're not burning as many calories. And so there's a decrease in aggressive behaviors, and that's one of the most common reasons that animals are surrendered to shelters. There's no guarantee your dog's aggressive behavior will stop when getting neutered, but if they're not already aggressive, it's just less likely that they'll feel the need to be the alpha dog or to fight with others. And so, um, if your dog's already aggressive, I do encourage you to get them neutered. Um, but also work with a veterinarian and a vet behaviorist to help train your dog and decrease these aggressive behaviors. Um, so overall, there's really a great risk or a great benefit to spaying and neutering your pets. And I mean, again, I just keep going back to that study of 2 million dogs. Spayed and neutered dogs just live longer, and so than those that remain intact. And so, if you're worried about your pet, if you want them to live as long as possible, then I do recommend spaying and neutering. And I can't say for certain that they won't get sick from something else, but it's just across the board. Um, Spaying and neutering has a great benefit to our pets. And so we had a question ahead of time that was about somebody's cat just had kittens. And so she asked if she needs to wait to get her spayed and how long, if so. So I'd recommend waiting until the kittens are weaned, which is usually about 6 weeks old. But don't wait too long after that. I've seen a lot of people put it off or forget about it. And then all the kittens and the mama cat are pregnant and it just multiplies. And so just try to get that scheduled as soon as you can um, for about when once the kittens are 6 weeks. Um, and then somebody also asked, how do I know if my dog's in heat? Usually dogs will bleed, but you don't always see the bleeding. It can be missed, and there might also be vulvular swelling and just in heat behaviors. And so, one of the reasons I recommend you get female cats spayed is because they are very persistent when they're in heat. They want to be bred so badly. And so they don't stop until they've achieved that goal, and they can be really annoying. So they meow loudly. Um, they're just like trying to serenade a tom cat. So, and they'll also urinate inside the house. And so, um, with cats in heat, you'll know if they're in heat, and they just really want to be bred. So, let me check over here. Patricia says, my dog is a happy soul. Will he change to be quieter, a sad baby? I don't believe spaying and neutering will change him to be quiet or sad. Um, I think he'll still be the same dog. And I love that he's a happy soul. Sometimes that can be hard to find in a Chihuahua. Um, and so that's really sweet. So some concerns with spaying or neutering that I hear often is cost. Well, look, we're here with Spay Neuter Network, and they offer affordable and at times free options for spaying and neutering. And so there's a lot of options in the area. There's TCAP, there's SPCA as well, and there's Spay Neuter Network. And so if you are hoping to get your pet spayed or neutered and you just don't have enough to be able to go to a veterinary clinic, you might reach out to a vet clinic first. It might be more affordable than you think, but if it's not, then reach out to one of those organizations. If you don't live in Dallas or Fort Worth or the surrounding areas, and you don't really know where to look, you can Google low cost spay neuter near me to see what comes up, and see if anybody around you can help. And then this is more funny and it's going to sound silly, but one of the biggest concerns I've heard is, especially from men, they say they can't do that to their pet. First, I'd like to say we aren't neutering you, sir. We're neutering your pet. And secondly, there's no fulfillment or longing in our pets to have sex or birth a litter. I got the related question that I'm afraid my cat will get depressed if I fix her and she can't have babies. Does that happen? And honestly, your cat won't know the difference. Um, Personally, I've given birth to two babies, and pregnancy is so hard. And it's not as hard for our animals, it's about 2 months. But most spayed and neutered animals go on to live wonderful lives, and having babies doesn't add or take away from that. Um, and then, okay, so I am coming to the end of my time. I do want to just check over here in the chat again. Um, Helen says hello and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Helen. It's good to see you here. And then Patricia asked how long to fully recovered after the procedure. And that is a question we got as well. About how long does it take after they're spayed or neutered to recover. So usually recovery is fairly fast. Most dogs start acting like themselves even the next day because they don't know that they got surgery. But some of them are a little mopier for a few days. So we don't want pets running, jumping, playing rough, following surgery for about 2 weeks. And some animals might need more time than that. I'd recommend checking the spot, their spay neuter spot every day, just to make sure for about 2 weeks that nothing's going wrong. You'll want to watch for redness, swelling, pain at the surgery site, any discharge as well. And if you have any concerns, reach out to your veterinarian about this. Okay, so I probably have time for about one more question. B here asks, what age should a female dog get spayed? And I think 6 months is a great time to get spayed for our female dogs. Actually, just across the board, I think that's good. There have been some studies about larger breed dogs, if it affects them, if they're spayed too early. And so some people will wait till after a year, but that evidence was so limited and so low that I think the benefits of spaying and neutering, especially before the first heat cycle, in female animals is much better for them in their longevity. Um, so we do just have one announcement. On January 7th, Spay Neuter Network's hosting an offsite clinic at Dallas Animal Services for free vaccines, DHPP and FVRCP for cats, and then DHP is for the dogs. So check it out. It's from 9 to noon this Saturday at Dallas Animal Services. And then Patricia asked what state I'm in. I'm in Texas. Yeehaw. Um, yeah, so thanks y'all for tuning in and for asking all your questions. It's nice when this is so interactive. We'll be back next month on February 1st at 6:30 p.m. again. So we try to do this the first Wednesday of every month. So appreciate when y'all comment and tune in. Um, and yeah, if you have any questions for next time, make sure to comment on our next event, which is usually posted about a week before, and we can try to get to those questions as well. So, yeah, I don't think there's any more questions. So I hope y'all have a great evening and Happy New Year.